Samsung slapped the Ultra name on its premium foldable phone this year, but calling something the Z Fold 8 Ultra implies it's the absolute top tier in every single metric: camera, battery, durability, and performance. So here's the question I'm answering in this video. If you have $2,099 burning a hole in your pocket for the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, are you actually getting a superior phone over the $1,299 Galaxy S26 Ultra? Or are you paying nearly $1,000 extra purely for a screen that bends? I've spent the last couple of weeks using both of these side by side to find out where the Fold 8 Ultra earns its name and where it falls short of the S26 Ultra. Let's dive in. On paper, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra weighs 215 grams, while the Galaxy S26 Ultra comes in at 214 grams. That's literally a 1 gram difference. I'm gonna ask 3 people which device they think is heavier, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra or the S26 Ultra.
The one on the right definitely has like a lighter feel, which is crazy because it is wider.
When we open it up to the full 8 inches,
Oh, the cool part.
like, does it actually still feel heavier to you?
Nah, it got lighter. You opened it, it turned into like a full notebook. And for some reason, it feels lighter.
Tell me what actually feels heavier to you.
It's wider and the middle feels heavier. Maybe it's just the size. Maybe the size just feels better in the hands of this one, but this one actually feels heavier.
Does your opinion change in terms of like how it feels when it's open? Would you
Well,
still?
this still feels heavier. So if this is heavier, they did a really good job with the like weight distribution.
This one feels heavier than this one.
It does?
Yes.
Why is that?
Probably because of the camera bump.
See if your mind gets changed at all and when it's actually opened all the way.
It definitely feels more balanced. This one still feels lighter than this one.
So it's really interesting. 2 out of 3 people that we gave these phones to actually thought that the S26 Ultra was heavier when in fact it's not. And I think it goes to show that the gap between folding and non-folding phones has really narrowed. Samsung managed to pack an 8-inch screen into a device that feels no heavier than a standard glass and metal slab. When unfolded, it's razor thin, 4.1 millimeters. Even closed, it's only 8.9 millimeters, which is barely a millimeter thicker than the S26 Ultra. Yeah, when it's closed, like, you can barely tell the difference between these 2 phones in terms of what's a foldable and what's not. But as impressive as Samsung's foldable looks and feels, there's still the not so little issue of durability. While the S26 Ultra carries a full IP68 rating, meaning it's completely dust tight and water resistant, the Fold 8 Ultra is rated IP48. The Fold will survive water submersion, but it offers 0 protection against fine dust or sand particle ingress. Take this foldable to the beach and you're gambling with a $2,000 piece of hardware. I wouldn't take that risk. Now I want to take a closer look at the display, specifically the 8-inch panel on the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. Probably one of the biggest upgrades I noticed right away between the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and the Fold 7 is the crease, especially when you're outside. There's a ton more glare on the Z Fold 7 because you have the anti-reflective coating on the Fold 8. Especially like when you're reviewing photos or just like responding to messages or whatever else, a lot of times you're forced with foldables to use the cover display. Not anymore. It's a pretty dramatic difference. The Z Fold 8 Ultra hands down has the best display of any foldable Samsung has ever made. It also crushes the S26 Ultra in raw brightness, pushing almost 2700 nits in HDR lab testing compared to the S26 Ultra's 1800 nits. In other words, outdoor legibility on the inner 8-inch screen is top tier, but the S26 Ultra has a killer feature the Fold completely lacks: a hardware-level privacy display. With Privacy Display, you can narrow the viewing angles directly in software so people sitting next to you can't snoop. A lot of people seem disappointed that Samsung couldn't work Privacy Display into the Z Fold 8 Ultra somehow. On maximum brightness, they're pretty close, but off axis, I would definitely say the Fold 8 Ultra is better for 2 reasons. One, you have the anti-reflective coating built in, and I think the Privacy Display takes a little bit of a hit in terms of the viewing angles, even when Privacy Display is turned off. Now, let me show you another place where the Ultra label on the Fold 8 takes a pretty big hit: the cameras. Both phones share the same 200 megapixel main camera and 50 megapixel ultra-wide, but when it comes to the long-range zoom, the Fold 8 Ultra gets completely outclassed. Now, let me max out the Fold 8 Ultra. It stops right here at 30x digital zoom. It's getting pretty pixelated. Now the S26 Ultra can keep going, but it's pretty amazing that I can actually make out the menu items on the S26 Ultra, whereas on the Fold 8 Ultra, it just seems like Samsung's making stuff up. On the S26 Ultra, it switches to that dedicated 50 megapixel periscope lens. The Fold 8 is cropping in digitally. But the Fold 8 Ultra adds unique software features like real-time cover screen previews so your subject can see themselves while you take their picture. Now I'm going to show you another feature that's exclusive to the Z Fold 8 Ultra, my fan cam, where you can record footage and then after the fact crop in automatically using AI. And then you just select the subject and you can see that it automatically selected like your human subjects. So I'll select this guy. And even from there, you get more customization. So you can pick whatever aspect ratio you want. So it's going to give you a new clip that's centered just on that subject. Under the hood, both devices run on Qualcomm's top-tier Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor. Benchmarks give the tiniest edge to the S26 Ultra, but it's pretty much the same performance, which makes sense, because again, same chip. In everyday use and high-end gaming, both phones are absolute speed demons. I definitely feel spoiled when playing games on a screen this large. Like the gaming experience feels more immersive just because you have such a large canvas. It feels like you're like inside the game. Whereas on the S26 Ultra, it feels like you're playing a mobile game. So it's like the difference between feeling like you're inside the action versus looking at it from the outside. Another cool thing about having a display this big, especially when you're gaming, is that you could be playing the game in the bottom part of the display, and up top you can have a walkthrough that's playing through on YouTube. There's a few other ways the $800 premium starts to make sense for power users. And probably one of my favorite features is that you can run 3 full apps at once on an 8-inch canvas. You just can't do that on a standard slab phone. And look at this software trick called Now Nudge. If I'm messaging a friend about dinner plans in one window, the AI automatically suggests opening my calendar app for a side-by-side right there. Samsung's battery life is honestly a fascinating story in itself this year. That's because it introduced silicon carbon battery technology into the Fold 8 Ultra, bumping capacity from 4,400 mAh on the Fold 7 to a full 5,000 mAh. In our test, the Fold 8 Ultra lasted an impressive 14 hours and 33 minutes, but the S26 Ultra, powering a smaller 6.9-inch screen, pushed past 16.5 hours. So while silicon carbon is undoubtedly an unlock for Samsung, foldable phones still have a way to go to keep up with the traditional slab. To me though, it's worth the trade-off. And then there's the stylus situation. The S26 Ultra keeps its iconic built-in S Pen. The Fold 8 Ultra? Samsung ditched the digitizer support entirely to make the phone thinner. So if you're a longtime Samsung user who takes handwritten notes or sketches on your phone, the Fold 8 Ultra is an automatic deal breaker. Don't judge my drawing, although the result here is a lot better and it got some friends. I don't use the S Pen that much on the S26 Ultra, but there's a ton of fans who use it for things like drawing, taking notes, and I think it would be nice to have it, especially on the Ultra version of the Fold 8. So which Ultra is the better buy? If you buy the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, having an 8-inch display, a brighter anti-reflective screen, and 3-app multitasking in a body that weighs the same as a regular flagship is pure magic. But you will be giving up IP68 dust resistance, the 5x periscope camera, and S Pen support. If you want the absolute best all-around smartphone that does everything without compromise and leaves $800 in your bank account, get the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Let me know in the comments down below. Would you pay the extra cash for the folding display, or are you sticking with the traditional Ultra slab? For Tom's Guide, this is Mark Spoonhour.